everything here. Hey guys. Hello, hello.
Hi.
There we go. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Oh, I see some tired faces this morning. Hi, guys. Hello. All right.
Bye.
Okay. To her, Zoom meetings are the coolest thing in the world. All right. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Hanging in there?
Decent, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. You guys seem sleepy. Is 10 a.m. too early?
No,
Maybe.
it's not bad.
It's all right. While I'm admitting people, I'll ask you guys real quick. You can weigh in. So the majority of you who voted for the review session date voted for Friday afternoon. Is like, when we say Friday afternoon, is like 3 o'clock good for you guys? How does that sound? That works? Okay, cool. I'll probably plan on that, and I'll just basically plan on going as long as we need to, like as long until people run out of questions, basically. So does that sound okay? All right, cool. Let's see, what time is it? Okay, so hi, good morning. It's the home stretch, guys. You're almost there. Yeah, right. Cheers. Good job. So for our class, well, I guess for all of your classes, because you're seniors, the last day I can assign something to you is Thursday. This is basically it, guys. Like we're in review mode now. So I'm going to continue to have you check in with me that you joined this or watched this, whatever the case may be. But we're done with new stuff. We're reviewing. Just so you know for your planning and stuff. So we'll have today, obviously, to go through the concept application FRQ. Friday will be really anything. My idea is that Friday will focus more on content, simply because we did the Zooms yesterday and today on the types of writing, but that doesn't mean you can't ask about the writing, obviously, on Friday. But the idea was to get the writing stuff out of the way so Friday could be more focused on content if that's what you need. But really Friday is for you. It's for you to go over, ask me whatever you want. I'll go over some key stuff, and we'll kind of focus on whatever you guys feel like you need to get ready for the test on Monday, okay? The test on Monday is at 3 o'clock. I will plan on sort of clearing my Monday to be available to you for whatever you need. I will post a Zoom and I'll just sort of check in and you guys can hop on and ask me any questions you need to on Monday. I don't recommend that you spend Monday morning freaking out. That's counterproductive. Use Monday morning to make sure you're set, that you have what you need, and that you kind of have the documents you want printed out to have next to you. Review some stuff lightly, but don't like plan on Monday being like a total major cram session. That's not good for your brain, okay? Okay, that being said, let's move to concept application. So I'm gonna share this with you. Can do this. Can you guys all see this? Okay, great. All right, so as it says, it's been changed, and don't freak out. That's an and statement, okay? But they did, College Board did, I will roll my eyes a little bit. Last week, they put a practice question for both types of writing in this like teacher community forum on the College Board website that like nobody checks. I happened to find out about this, thankfully, and the question that they posted for the concept application FRQ was significantly different than what we had been doing previously. And they offered sort of no explanation for this except to say they wanted to get this to us as quickly as possible, and there will be a rubric coming. We still don't have one, but we have this sample question to work from. So I guess that's something. The format is only different in terms of what it's asking you to do. So let's look. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay. So I'm trying to move you guys, no offense, so I can see. Okay. So here's what hasn't changed. Let's just set the framework first. You still have 15 minutes for this one, okay? That's 15 minutes to read it, think about it, plan it, write it, okay? Then you still have an additional 5 minutes to upload it. That is still the same. Even more now than before, guys, you do not have time to really do anything except answer the question, okay? This time frame is tight. You will not have time to Google anything, to look anything up, you just have to write, okay? You need to be completely prepared going in. This question now is designed to reward people who know AP government, which I guess is a good thing, right? This will test if you know the content, period. You got to know it going in. There's not going to be any time to look it up, okay? So that's what hasn't changed, right? Here's the new format. And I'm going to show you an example, so this will crystallize even better in your brain as we go. There are now 5 tasks where there used to be 3, okay? The A task is going to ask you to describe something and then explain something. I'm going to spend some time on these verbs, so hang tight. The B task is going to ask you to explain something having to do with one of the essential court cases, I think. The sample question they posted contained an essential court case in part B, okay? I think this makes sense that they're going to do this. This is how they will ensure that you're tested on one of the court cases, okay? I would plan for an essential court case to be in part B of this question. I can't guarantee it. I would plan for it, however. If it's not, it's not. And just to explain whatever they ask you to explain. But I would plan on having to explain something about one of the essential court cases, okay? Part C then is another set of describe and explain. As you can see, this is all about task verbs. This is all about doing what they're asking you to do. And the verb they use matters, right? When they ask you to describe and explain, you need to identify and describe something, and then you need to explain some connection that they're asking you about. Explain why, explain what, explain how, okay? That should always, almost always anyway, include a because statement, okay? Oops, sorry. I didn't want to do that yet. Christian, oh, he is? Tell Christian I don't see him. Okay, sorry guys. All right, so let's look at this sample question. Let me pause. Any questions before I move on? Okay, all right. Oh, sorry, let's look at verbs first. That's what I meant. What is the difference between describe and explain? You need to know this difference, okay? So a describe means tell me about it, right? Paint a picture for me, okay? So describe a dollar bill. A dollar bill is green, rectangular, made out of paper. It has George Washington on it. You could tell me that, right? Okay, describe it. That's a describe. Describe can be done in 1, maybe 2 complete sentences, okay? Good so far. Explain how a dollar bill can get you a bag of Skittles, okay? So it's an explain how question, right? So now you're gonna describe this connection for me. $1 bill can get me a bag of Skittles because a bag of Skittles costs 95 cents and I can use it at a store to purchase a bag of Skittles, right? Obviously, this is way, way, way simplified, but I'm just trying to show you the difference between what these verbs are asking, okay? In real life, we tend to use describe and explain sort of interchangeably, right? In College Board AP Gov life, those verbs mean two different things, and you need to respond accordingly, okay? So now, let me pause. Questions? Okay. Here's the sample prompt that College Board released. Now, the first thing I want to call your attention to is what I put here in italics. The content contained in this sample question will not be on the test. This question is asking about interest groups. It's asking about, and there's going to be one other thing it asks about, lobbying, stuff like that, okay? And it's asking about contributing money for campaigns, okay? This is a sample just so that you can see the format. It is not a sample for content, okay? All right. So I'm going to read this with you. Since 2008, the Alliance Defending Freedom, a conservative Christian interest group, has promoted an annual event known as Pulpit Freedom Sunday. On this occasion, pastors are encouraged to challenge a provision of the tax law known as the Johnson Amendment, which prohibits political activity by certain nonprofit organizations, including religious organizations. While the Johnson Amendment does not restrict religious leaders from speaking out regarding social issues, it does prohibit them from contributing money to political campaigns or speaking out in favor or against candidates running for political office. On Pulpit Freedom Sunday, as an act of civil disobedience, pastors and religious leaders preach openly about the moral qualifications of candidates seeking office. Okay. I want to make a general note here before we move on. Assuming that this was non-COVID-19 life and you were being tested on this content, you still would not know what the Johnson Amendment was, and you're not expected to. Everything you need to know about the Johnson Amendment to answer this question is in this scenario, okay? You should expect to see something in the blurb that you don't know about, and they're going to tell you what you need to know to answer the question accurately, okay? So just an FYI there. Okay. So after reading the scenario, please respond to A, B, and C below. Okay, so this is the same, right? The same as before where they give you this scenario and you have to apply it to course concepts, okay? All right, so part A. Referencing the scenario, describe an action Congress could take to address the concerns of the interest group and explain how partisan divisions could prevent this action. Okay, so first we have a describe, then we have an explain. Answer accordingly. Okay, I'm gonna caution you, I think I actually wrote a little too much here, so just FYI. Okay. I want you to notice my formatting. I think this is a good thing for you to do. I recommend it. Here's my describe answer. Here's my explain answer. I went to a new paragraph to do that. I think that really helps the grader. I also think it helps you. I recommend doing that. So here's my describe. In order to address the concerns of the Alliance Defending Freedom, Congress could use their constitutional power to make all laws necessary and proper to pass a law that allows pastors to speak about candidates, but not directly from their places of worship. I continued writing. I think I could stop there and get full credit for what it's worth, okay? Essentially, you need to, referencing the scenario, describe what they could do. So I said, in order to address the concerns of the Alliance Defending Freedom, Congress could pass a law, right? When they say referencing the scenario, they mean it. Reference the scenario. If all I wrote here was Congress could pass a law, you're not going to get credit because that's not referencing the scenario, okay? I hedged my bets to make sure I was really applying it directly to the scenario. I added this second sentence. This law would allow pastors to exercise their First Amendment right to free speech while protecting the spirit of the Johnson Amendment, wall of separation, right? I think that's probably unnecessary to get the point. I think the first sentence I wrote gets me the point, okay? Questions about that one? Okay, next I have to explain how partisan divisions could prevent this action. Okay, partisan divisions can, in this scenario, I think refer to two things. I took one approach. There's a second approach that would be just as good. I took the approach of partisan divisions within Congress. The other approach you could take is partisan divisions within government itself, meaning divided government, right? Congress is dominated by Democrats and the president is a Republican, right? How could that prevent this action? AKA the president could veto it, okay? I took the other approaches, you'll see, but there's different ways to answer this question. Remember, when it's an explain question, you should almost always have a because statement, and I do, okay? So here was my answer. Partisan divisions could prevent Congress from passing this law, okay? So I sort of identified here how it could prevent it. Now I'm going to explain it. Because conservative Republican members of Congress who rely on the support of the religious right and conservative voters who tend to be more religious will be reluctant to vote for a bill that doesn't completely free pastors to engage in political activity, as the Alliance Defending Freedom wishes. At the same time, liberal Democrats who tend to argue against any type of political activity in churches will be reluctant to support a bill that allows pastors to speak out politically, even if not from their place of worship. This means that liberal Democrats and conservative Republicans will be against this bill, leaving only the moderate middle to support it, likely not enough support to pass a piece of legislation in Congress, okay? Again, this might be a little too much information. You want to explain how partisan divisions can prevent it. I'm a wordy person, right? But make sure that you're thoroughly explaining, okay? Questions for me for part A? Okay. Part B, here's where you're going to see the court case, I think, enter into the question, okay? Part B is that, for this question, says explain how the restrictions imposed by the Johnson Amendment noted in the scenario differ from the Supreme Court's decision in Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission. Guys, real quick side note, this is an essential court case. It's the only one you're not going to be tested on, okay? Second semester kids, we didn't even get to this. First semester students, we did, so you know what this is about. But Citizens United is the only essential court case that will certainly not appear on the test next week, okay? Just a quick aside so that you can sort of conceptualize what this question is getting at. Citizens United is the court case that led to the creation of super PACs. This is a court case that said restrictions on how much money corporations or labor unions can spend to influence politics, those restrictions were struck down as unconstitutional, okay? And another sort of aside, contributions, spending money in politics is considered symbolic speech. So we're within the realm of First Amendment free speech here, okay? All right, so we're gonna explain, it's an explain question. We need to make sure we're making that connection, okay? It's an explain how, right? So the restrictions imposed by the Johnson Amendment differ from the Supreme Court's decision in Citizens United versus the FEC. Notice I restated the prompt. And that in the Johnson Amendment, this could be a because, I guess, I said in that. In the Johnson Amendment, the First Amendment rights of religious leaders to speak out or contribute money in favor of or against candidates running for political office is restricted, whereas in Citizens United, the Supreme Court ruled that the First Amendment right of corporations, labor unions, interest groups to spend an unlimited amount of money advocating in favor of or against candidates running for political office is protected. I chose to underline these two words because it very clearly, starkly shows the difference, right? I recommend you do that sort of thing if you think it's going to help demonstrate to the reader what you're trying to say, right? It sort of emphasizes it. I think that that's valuable. In both situations, the First Amendment protection of free speech is at stake, since contributing money to political candidates is a form of symbolic speech that falls under the First Amendment. But in one case, the Johnson Amendment, free speech is restricted, and in the other case, Citizens United, free speech is protected. Again, I did this to sort of drive home the point that I understand the difference, okay? Questions about B? You can see here how they're going to include a court case and how you're going to need to know your stuff. You will have almost no extra time to look stuff up, okay? Again, here's where that quick reference guide I gave you is really going to come in handy. A quick glance to make sure you're remembering the court case correctly, then write, okay? I want to caution you heavily against writing word for word what I have in that quick reference guide. Remember, College Board is looking to catch plagiarism. One of the things that they have set up is something to detect same language from student submissions. If all of you write the exact same words about a court case in your submission, you're going to get flagged, okay? Don't do that. Use it as a reference, write it in your own words, okay? I do recommend that you quickly glance at that to make sure that when you're thinking, oh, I'm thinking about Wisconsin versus Yoder, quickly check to make sure you're remembering Yoder right, that kind of thing. I think that that's a really smart idea. That's really what that's for. But you're not going to have time to do a lot of reading, learning, researching. Okay? Questions? Okay. Part C is another describe and explain. Describe a liberty found in the Bill of Rights that the interest group referenced in this scenario feels is threatened. Explain how this group might use the judicial branch to try and influence a change in this policy. Okay, we're going to first tackle the describe, right? So, the Alliance Defending Freedom feels that the First Amendment protection of free speech is the liberty being threatened by the Johnson Amendment, right? Notice I didn't just say First Amendment. Notice I didn't just say free speech. I said both. Be as specific as you can be, okay? By not allowing religious leaders to speak out in favor of or against political candidates or to donate money to political campaigns, the Alliance Defending Freedom believes their First Amendment right to free speech is being threatened. I described a little more, right? I gave a little more information. I didn't just say it's their First Amendment free speech. I explained exactly what about the Johnson Amendment they feel is threatening their First Amendment right to free speech, okay? That's my describe, 2 sentences. My explain. The Alliance Defending Freedom could use the judicial branch to try to change this policy by filing a lawsuit against the federal enforcement of the Johnson Amendment, claiming that the First Amendment rights of pastors is being infringed upon, that should be by the federal government. By filing this lawsuit, the Alliance for Defending Freedom could change the policy because, it's an explain, so there's my because, the courts could use their power of judicial review to rule that the Johnson Amendment violates the First Amendment and is therefore unconstitutional, okay? How would this change the policy? Well, this would strike down the Johnson Amendment, allowing religious leaders to speak out for and donate money to political candidates, okay? So how could they use the judicial branch? They could file a lawsuit, right? They could do this. It would change the policy because the court could use their power of judicial review to strike it down. That would change the policy by allowing them to speak out or donate money. Describe, explain. Notice again my formatting, 2 separate paragraphs. Okay? Questions? Okay. So that's the concept application FRQ as of this moment today. This is doable, but you have to do it fast. Okay, I really want to stress that. That doesn't mean I want you to race through it and not include all of the information, but it does mean I don't want you to count on looking anything up. I know I've said this like 100 times, you probably want me to shut up, but I really want to stress that to you. You need to be prepared for this test going in and not feel like you can count on time to look things up. College Board's done that on purpose, right? They don't want this to be a test of who's a good Googler. They want this to be a test of who knows AP government and politics. So they're making it a time crunch on purpose. All right, 3 really quick general things, not specific to concept application, that I want to get out there to you as you're preparing. I've gotten this question from several people, and so I just wanted to address it quickly. Hopefully it's clearer now why my answer is yes. Should I study the court cases? Yes, definitely, because of this question, right? Study all of the court cases, look at your 4 squares, look at the quick reference guides I gave you, make sure you understand them. For this question, obviously, also on the argumentative essay, you can use a court case as your second piece of evidence. So that's something good to have in your back pocket. How should I study? This is not an exhaustive list, but it's a good one to start with. The AP Gov 2020 Modified Review Guide I posted, this is the best content review. It's been modified to include only the content that could appear on the test this year. The Concept App and Argumentative 2020 review will help with the types of writing, although I will admit now with the change in concept application, those question samples are not perfect anymore, but they're still okay. Watch the YouTube reviews from this week. So Jennifer Hitchcock is that AP Gov teacher who's been doing these reviews all along. You guys watched that one that was really long. This week, she's doing them specifically looking at these questions and other questions, and then the next day, she's going through and sort of assessing them. Really helpful. Yesterday, they had the chief grader for AP Gov on looking at student sample answers, okay? You can go back and watch them from this week. There's a link on Schoology. You can scroll through all the ones that she's done over the last several weeks. Those are all content really with some writing involved. This week is really focused on writing. Citizen U is run by 2 teachers at Stevenson who are graders for this test. Lots of great info and study tools. They have sample questions and answers. Check it out. And then we're going to Zoom on Friday to review. Okay. What else do I need to be prepared? If you haven't already, go through the exam demo. Make sure you know how you plan on submitting your answers. Are you going to copy and paste? Are you going to upload attachments? What's your plan? Go through the exam walkthrough so you know exactly how it's going to happen. You will be emailed an entrance ticket. You need to know all that stuff. Both of those are linked on Schoology for you. And then I put this in an update a little while ago, but make sure you're getting emails from College Board. That's how you're going to get your exam ticket. So you need to make sure that you're getting those and you know which email they're going to. Okay. That's all I got, guys. Anybody have any questions for me? I can see your faces again. I like that better. Anybody? 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 Okay. Check in on Schoology. Let me know if you do have questions that come up. I will see you guys Friday. We'll plan on 3 o'clock unless something strange happens. I will post that info for you shortly. Plan on a 3 o'clock content review Zoom. We'll review until we can't review no more. Okay, are you ready? Do you feel good about it? Who started a review guide?
I started the one with the what's it called? I forget what the clauses, the important constitutional clauses and stuff like that.
Nice.
I did that.
I like it.
And then I taped everything to my wall, like all the printout stuff. I taped it to my wall so I could just look up.
Perfect. So. See, guys, I'm giving you good content information and helping you decorate your rooms. You're welcome.
It looks nice. It looks nice.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Now I wish I'd included lots of pictures. Sorry. Who else is doing reviews? Who else? I can see it in your eyes if you haven't reviewed yet, so don't try to fool me. It's time. You what, Ayana?
I will be doing it.
You will be. That's what I like to hear. Okay. Okay. It's time, guys. If you haven't started yet, it's time. Okay. That is your charge going forward. Review. All right. Anything before we say goodbye? Did you guys see who's going to be giving you and every other senior in the country a commencement address?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yes.
That could be cool, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. There's lots of people doing stuff. And that it's not just Barack Obama, it's all sorts of people apparently.
So I heard that like Michelle Obama's doing one too. but
I
they're
think
both
it's
speaking.
I think it's the same thing.
There's a new Netflix documentary about Michelle Obama.
Came out
There's
today.
two different things. There's
It's
like
called
one May
Becoming.
16th.
What, Natalie?
There's one like graduation May 16th, and then there's like another one like June 6th or something. They're
Oh,
like
yeah.
different things,
Yeah.
which is bizarre.
It was like graduation, like separate commencement thing. I don't know. They were
Oh.
definitely like two separate things on like his Instagram.
Yeah.
The thing Obama's doing is with LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool duo. And the dude from Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh, yeah, Ben Platt.
Guys, not that it's, first world problems, but I have tickets to see Dear Evan Hansen in July, and it's going to get canceled.
Oh.
I bought the tickets 2 years ago. Because you had to buy them.
So sad.
I know.
That is so
Who would have
sad.
thought 2 years ago that I wouldn't be able to see it because of a pandemic,
Who would have known?
right? Anyway. Anything else, guys?
I like your picture wall.
Thanks. I feel like it looks a lot more organized in person than it looks on the screen behind me. It looks a little crazy behind me, but those are all like mostly like super old family pictures, like people who aren't even alive anymore. It's kind of cool. From our families. Thanks. Thanks to IKEA for cheap black frames.
We love IKEA.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Is anything going on? I mean, I know that we're all like literally stuck at home, but is anything going on?
Not really.
No.
Guys, nothing? You got nothing for me?
Wish I did, but
Yeah.
I think I'm picking up my cap and gown this week, maybe.
oh yeah, it's Friday. Right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
on Friday.
I heard about
That's
that.
like an event now.
Right? We get to
I'm
go to
so
school.
excited.
I know.
Does anyone
Wait,
know about
wait,
that Saturday
wait.
thing? How is that
I'm
parade
confused.
thing Saturday working?
I don't
Yeah,
really know.
my parents bought me decorations for my car, and I don't know. It's so awkward.
It's gonna start at school and then like drive around. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they keep telling us, they're like, our next correspondence will have information for you, and then they don't give us any information.
They're trying. I think they're scrambling to plan it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
makes
like-
sense.
Yeah.
But the Fridays, they're very detailed. You gotta have your name on your car. You gotta bring all
Oh,
your
really?
stuff. You have to have like your first and last name on your passenger door. There's like time slots for every last name. Like,
Yeah.
thing.
Wow.
It's an ordeal.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. Have you guys gotten any communication from your colleges next year about anything?
I scheduled
But my
classes
my sister, she works at U of I, and she told me that they're planning to still hold in-person classes in the fall. So they're not planning anything like against it yet.
Okay. Has anybody else heard anything?
My college cut the cost, so it's cheaper now.
Sweet.
I wish my school would do that.
Yeah.
I heard Minnesota's tuition freezing for.
Oh, that's
the
What
next-
did what?
They're like tuition freezing, so they're not increasing the cost of tuition.
That's nice.
I mean, I have to assume that if you guys are gonna do e-learning in the fall, that they're gonna make and you can't live on campus, they're gonna make it cheaper.
I
Oh yeah,
hope.
definitely.
Yeah.
I would
I
think.
would
assume
can't
that.
imagine them doing anything else. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. E-learning, it would suck to start e-learning though. Like it wasn't the end, like coming from like going from a school year to e-learning, like wasn't the end of, like we already had things in place, but starting e-learning, you're not gonna have any relationships with like peers or teachers.
Right.
So.
I know. I've been thinking about that for next year for us.
Right.
Like, I don't,
Have they told you guys anything?
no, they don't know.
Right.
That's the thing.
Well,
So much.
schools are phase 4 of the plan that was just released for Illinois.
Correct. And even that doesn't mean school as we know it. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't put 32 kids in a classroom and social distance, and you certainly can't put 1,000 kids in a cafeteria. You can't pack hallways. So, I don't know.
Be quiet. I'm in class. Sorry.
It must feel good, those of you who want to go into some kind of science field, right? The whole world is relying on scientists right now. We need you. We need your brains. Which one of you is going to be the one to discover the vaccine?
Oh God,
I
hope it
vote
doesn't
Ryan
take that
Sau.
long.
I'm not taking biology. I've never taken
Oh, come on.
AP
Would you
bio.
please just take
That's
bio
not
for
happening.
us?
No, bio is a horrible black magic.
Black magic, says the guy who does math without numbers.
That's facts.
I'm just going to need all you smart people to take bio or whatever field it is that comes up with vaccines and
But
figure
the
that out.
vaccine
Natalie,
needs to
where's
come out
Natalie?
before we're in the field.
Natalie.
What?
Natalie.
There you are. Somebody. Please.
Ms. Ham, we can't wait until we're graduated from college to get a vaccine for
I
this.
agree.
I really
So-
hope someone comes up with a vaccine before one of us.
I just saw today in the news some guy was shot in like the other night who was making progress on the coronavirus thing, and he was like killed.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it just came on the news today. They're like, man, like who was on the verge of a coronavirus breakthrough shot last night. I was like, what?
That's
Does someone like
sketchy.
not want us to get out of this thing? I'm confused.
The conspiracy theorist in me says it's an inside job, but that's just really that really sucks.
I mean, I
It's
think
all
that
of the companies who are capitalizing on it. They decided to off him so that they can make more money.
That's probably fact. I don't doubt that.
One does,
I
yeah.
think before a vaccine we need a treatment. So can you guys
We
do
need
that?
that.
Because if we can come up with a drug that treats it so people, or at least most people, don't die from it, that's good.
There was some treatment that they said is looking good.
Bleach? I heard bleach is a good.
Yes,
good
I was
sunlight
just
drug.
gonna
inside your
say.
body.
I heard
Yeah, that's good.
injecting Clorox into your veins worked.
And actually, like remdesivir is supposed to be,
Yeah.
actually effective, kind of.
Well, it's effective in speeding up recovery.
Yeah, not more
potentially.
effective than nothing, at least.
True. Although apparently it can also give you like kidney disease in the process.
Oh,
I
good.
I heard of this drug that is supposed to mock the like configuration of adenosine. So when the RNA in the virus tries to replicate itself, it can't in your body anymore. So then your body eventually like wins out over it. But that was a while ago. I heard about that. I don't know. If
Is
that
it a new drug or is it an
Yeah.
old one that they're okay?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. I read an article about it like a couple weeks ago. It looked promising.
We need something, guys.
I know.
Well, isn't there a chance early September potentially
For what?
for a vaccine?
I saw there was human trials starting on something.
One
Yeah,
of
they're
the
doing
Yeah.
different trials all over the place. But guys, here's the thing. Even if they come up with a successful vaccine today, which they won't, right? Clinical trials will take a long time. Just the amount of time it's going to take to manufacture enough vaccines and then distribute to the world. I mean, we'll be lucky if it's in a year.
Do you think there's a chance that everyone will get tested before they go to school and then self-quarantine?
We don't
before
have
also?
nearly the testing capacity to do that right now.
How did California give free testing to everyone though?
Well, they're doing it
'Cause
themselves.
I don't know.
Right now it's on individual states to
Yeah.
do this, to create tests, to distribute tests. It's the federal government is doing very little in terms of test capacity surging. So,
It's
we'll
also
see if
so
that
hard to
starts to
tell.
change.
It's hard to tell like
I
who
don't
has,
even.
because we don't have tests. It's hard to like the numbers like will jump one day because you like tested more people. So then it's really hard to know like how far
Yeah. So how
along
do
we
you?
actually are.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you know that when the curve is flattening? If when some
Yeah.
Right, because part of the problem is as we
Number
increase the
increasing
number of
like, I
tests,
don't
it looks
really-
like more people are getting it. But in reality, we're just testing more people. Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know.
They said you won't know you flattened the curve until you've passed flattening the curve.
Makes sense.
I
That makes
don't
sense.
understand.
Sucks.
It does. Yeah, it's surreal, right? It is surreal.
I'm starting to go insane. I have both my parents at home.
Yeah.
and working all day.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, imagine when it's summer. And I mean, I know that you guys aren't like, yippee, I get to study AP Gov, but in the summer when you have nothing to do.
Oh my god.
I know.
Well, my job at the YMCA hasn't. They're pushing it back, but they didn't cancel it at all. They're preparing. Like
Yeah, I wonder how
they're
many
gonna do.
people will be able to work.
They're doing they're doing e-training. So
It's the same with
I don't
my
know.
job at the park district. They it was supposed to start the first week of June, but they canceled the first two sessions of camp. So like the earliest that we would start is July 1st, but like it probably won't happen.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks because I was prepared to work full time for 3 months.
Right.
And
Yes, same.
I know.
Exactly.
Not have any
What
money
can
to
you
make
do?
before college.
I know.
I applied for a grant, and because you know how they can, you know how schools are asking like if you're facing any like financial like adversity. So like Ohio State sent me an email saying like you can apply for like anything, right? Any students open to it, and I said that I may not have my job for the school year, and they ask you to put like a certain amount that you that you would like to have, and if I don't know if I'll get it because they can look at like my like the income and stuff like that, but like I tried, you know, saying like I may not have a job and like it's gonna go towards my tuition. So I mean I think other schools are doing that as well, so it may be something to look into.
I'll look into it.
We'll get through it. One day it'll be over.
Yeah. It's gonna be so boring this summer though, you're right. There's like nothing to occupy.
I know.
Oh, the drive-in theater at McHenry
Henry's
is opening.
opening.
That's great.
I want to go see the Flintstones.
My goal is I'm going to train for a 10K.
Ooh.
That's a good thing to get up to.
Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm finally done having kids, so time. So do something like that. I don't know. You guys could all run a marathon by September.
We're gonna either be really fit or really not fit coming out of this. You're just gonna have eaten your way through quarantine, or you're gonna have worked your way out of quarantine.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. One or the other. Two extremes.
A 2-pound bag of Sour Patch Kids.
Oh,
I have one in my room.
Oh, man. Okay. All right, you guys. I've taken up enough of your time. It was nice chatting with you, though. I missed in-person chatting.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hammond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will
Thank
post
you.
info about Friday, and I'll see you then.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Miss Hammond.
Bye.